Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Paint Train. Continuing on with my video game environment series, here's my top 5 airship stages and areas in video games. Hopefully this is apparent from the title, but this is my list of favorites. This is heavily influenced by my own subjectiveness and biases, but I will try to explain as thoroughly as I can why each area appeals to me. Also, I will be upfront with the fact that I am a Nintendo fanboy, and as such, most entries are going to be from those games. However, I am limiting it to one entry per series for each video, otherwise certain series would dominate these rankings. I'm going to touch on aesthetics, level design, and music. Without any further ado, let's go! At number 5, we have Roy's Airship from Super Mario Bros. 3. There may be no airships more iconic than the Koopaling's fleet from Mario 3, and my favorite of the bunch is in World 5, where the difficulty of these stages starts to pick up. It's an auto-scrolling stage on a wooden airship set in the cloudy night sky, teeming with hazards including bullet launchers, cannons, and rocket engines. This stage isn't very long, but it's a bullet graveyard near the end, so you must watch your step. The airship music is deep, foreboding, and methodical. Facing Roy can be trickier than usual, as he's one of the heavy Koopalings, so his jump can stun you if he lands while you're on the ground. These short stages did a lot to form the mystique of airships in video games, and are a huge reason why Super Mario 3 is one of the best games of all time. Next at number 4 is Va-Mado from The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. High in the sky above Rito Village, Va-Mado circles as a giant aerial divine beast that Link must conquer. It is a giant, stone robotic airship that has to have its defensive shields bombed before it can even be explored. Like all the beasts, once inside, Link can rotate parts of the dungeon body to solve puzzles and reveal terminals. Va uses tilting the wings to allow gravity to affect certain switches and gates. The music is very low and subdued, and honestly does very little to accent the beast. Enemies include the cursed enemy heads, guardian scouts, and eyes of malice. One of the coolest things about Va-Mado is when you're doing the outside challenges, you can see the terrain outside Rito Village down below as it circles. The boss Windblight Ganon I think has interesting moves, but is ultimately the weakest of the 4 dungeon bosses, as neither phase is that challenging. That, along with the lack of interesting music, keeps it from rising any higher on my list, but it is a unique environment in Zelda games, and the cleverness of the puzzles and the outer visuals are great. Coming in at number 3 is Flying Battery Zone from Sonic & Knuckles. Eggman's Flying Fortress is fast-paced, dangerous, and a ton of fun. It has numerous inner workings that Sonic must overcome, spinning turbines, magnetic pulleys, and whatever the heck these things are. There's no shortage of variety, not to mention the zone cycles you between inside and outside the airship, mixing up the visuals often. Enemies include blasters, techno squeaks, and missiles. The music is fantastic, fast, bouncy, and rhythmic, matching the pace this level will usually have you going. Act 2 is unique for having 2 Eggman bosses. The first is pretty much the same boss as Wing Fortress in Sonic 2, where you just need to dodge the laser long enough for it to destroy itself. The second is Hang Mobile, where Eggman will use spiky claws hanging below the floor to try and trap you to blast you with fire. Careful jumping and patience will send Eggman packing and complete an extremely fun airship zone. In second place is the Flying Machine from Shovel Knight. This stage begins by having you climb the airship very similar to Mario 3, and then from there you're in the interior of the craft, riding propeller air currents to go higher. You eventually make your way to outside portions on the deck of the ship, which is illuminated by a beautiful sunset, but also plagued by high winds pushing against you. From there you'll be going in and out of the aircraft's interior dealing with enemies including floatsomes, wisdoms, and hover meanies, though most of the challenge comes from the platforming and bottomless pits. The music is fantastic, very upbeat, fast-paced, and soaring. I also really love how the background goes from mountains to showing the Enchantress's castle in the distance. It really provides a sense of scale and progression. The boss is very appropriate. Propeller-headed eccentric jester Propeller Knight uses several tactics including fencing, flying around, and using his propeller to try to blow you into pits. He also has the ship fire cannonballs at you from the background. It's a very fun boss at the end of a great, if a little long level, that perfectly encapsulates why airship levels are so fun. And number 1 goes to Mega Fortress XJ from Dragon Ball Z Boo's Fury. I completely understand if some of you look at me strangely, but this Game Boy Advance game used visuals and music to perfection in several of its areas, and none more than the giant airship that is XJ5 and later XJ6. Partway through the game, while gathering the Dragon Balls, Trunks or Goten track one to this flying behemoth consisting of several levels of fighting through mechanical enemies in hangars, elevator rooms, or outside. The enemies included biomechs, destroyers, and laser turrets. The music is my favorite part of the level. It's a remixed Bruce Faulkner track that's intense, upbeat, and heroic. It's one of my favorite songs in the show, and it fits these 32-bit games perfectly. Once you make your way to the top level and defeat the Warlord, a self-destruct is initiated, and you have to book it back down before the vessel explodes, all the while avoiding or taking out enemies on the way down. Defeating this airborne warship helps you feel extremely powerful, and it does a great job at representing one of the best embodiments of fantasy settings in games. So what did you think of the list? Who did I leave off? Who shouldn't be on here? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, please drop a like, subscribe, follow on various social media in the description below. Keep an eye out for more biome rankings in the future. And as always, have a blessed day.